What is happening, troops? Broken Omega here, coming to you live from Sanctuary Hills in the dirty Wasteland. And behind me is Preston roaming around, probably looking for settlements that need my help. Not today. Today, I am building. The hard hat is on, and I am going to be heading off to Starlight Drive-In to do a big project. First things first though, if you haven't already, hit that like button and that subscribe button to stay up to date with my content. Now without further ado, let's head off to Starlight Drive-In. So here I am, Starlight Drive-In. And it's looking in a sorry state of repair, I must say. It hasn't gone too well. I mean, look at it. Abysmal, destroyed, horrible. These are a few words to sum up this little old drive-in movie theatre, should I say. And I'm going to change it. Got the hard hat on, and we're going to get to it. So first things first, I am going to scrap absolutely everything here. And I mean everything. All of it gone. And with the spring cleaning mod that I've got installed, I can get rid of almost everything. Unfortunately, with the previous update, it has actually stopped a few things being deleted. Before, with spring cleaning, you could delete the buildings, practically everything you could delete. So I'm just waiting for the update to come out for spring cleaning that fixes that issue, and obviously I can come back and tidy it up a little bit more. And even just dismantling little bits, you always come across that odd, horrible rad roach. But, yet again, spring cleaning allows me to get rid of that. So, with it all being nice and tidy and clean to a goodish standard, I am going to start on the project. Now, you might have guessed it already by the title of the video. I am building an arena. An arena to hold the local death matches. So first things first, I'm going to put down a good foundation. Now this foundation itself is actually going to be one of the holding rooms that after setting it all up, we will come back to a little bit later. Now, the materials I'm using actually come from another mod. I think it's actually Homemaker I'm using to get these materials, and they've got some really good metal floors from it. So we're going to go into a super fast speed as I start to build the rest of the arena. As you can see, I'm going to use the foundations as walls to give it a bit of a dreary, horrible look. I mean, it's not all fun and games. Deaths are going to happen here. Using the foundations as well makes it a little bit of a thicker surface, so people aren't going to be able to escape their most certain doom. So as you can see, I'm adding another layer. This gives the arena itself a bit more of a depth. So when you're fighting for your life, you've got all the spectators at a higher pillar than you. It's an idea I have taken from the old Roman Colosseums. This is going to be the challenger's entrance, and I've made it so I can put a couple of statues or pillars around it just to make it look a little bit nicer. And on top, I'm just going to smooth off all the surfaces so it's got one clear route. And now it's time to add a staircase in. The staircases themselves are for the spectators to get up to a high position to look down on the carnage and massacres that are happening below. So I'm going to use foundations now to round off the area themselves and use them as stairs to get up to the main flights. This is because the ladders that you are given aren't that great. Plus also, on the sides of these, I can add pillars again. I'm just going to close off all of the staircases, so there's one easy route, and give them a bit of cover as well. Now this cover works in two ways. It covers the stairwells, plus also, it gives me my next layer. I'm going to have a two-layered area for the spectators. The lower area is for, well, to put it nicely, the lower cap producing people, and the higher area is going to be for the higher cap earners. So as you can see, I have got a 2-layered arena. Now, the next thing I got to do is add a third and final layer. Now this one isn't for the spectators at all. This one is for the workers, aka me. That's so I don't have to mess around with the spectators and get all these questions out of the way. I can just be up, watching that the arena's now filled, and start the action. There we have it, a 3-layered arena. Now, obviously, I'm not going to stop there, and as you can see, it has taken some of the ideas from my Roman Colosseum. So, what's next? Well, protection for the audience, of course. If you've actually played with the Wasteland Workshop DLC, you'll know that raiders, gunners, and super mutants that you can capture will actually shoot. So I'm going to put up glass, which is pretty much bulletproof, so they can't shoot at the spectators watching. Next up, for myself to get around a lot easier, I'm going to put up a catwalk. Now this catwalk works absolutely beautifully, and it brings me out into the centre of the arena, where I'm going to build a control booth. With the help of another mod, I get to use some glass flooring, which allows me to see downstairs into the arena itself, so I don't miss the action, and I know when to do certain things. So with the help of some concrete walls, I can make it a bit more secure for the control room, and adding a second layer, I can put an energy supply upstairs, which is out of the way of myself as well. Also, around the sides of the top layer, I'm putting up a wooden banister, because I'm quite notorious for walking off things without looking, so it's to save my own life really. So after sealing off the top energy room, I just need to put a decent power supply in there, and the best one to do would be a fusion generator. After placing that in there, it's all about the wiring. Unfortunately, I had to remove a couple of panels at the top, just so the wiring could actually work correctly. And with the doorways themselves, they are quite awkward to work around, but the connectors themselves help a lot. So next up is adding switches into the room itself, because after all, it's a control room, and a nice powered door, which I had to lower manually. The powered door itself works for the challenger's entrance, and it means no one can enter or interrupt a fight without my say-so. And then it's getting the wiring done, so I can get a power supply over to the door itself, along to one of the switches that's actually in the control booth. Now the best way I thought of doing this was using the catwalks themselves, as it looks quite tidy when I put it along there, and it's not too out in the open. After all the wiring's done and set up to the switch, give it a quick test to make sure it's working, and the next thing is setting up the wiring for my next little thing in the arena. Now the next thing for the arena itself is from another mod, and this mod, I am so glad I came across it, because it works so well with arenas. So with all the tedious wiring done, it's time to bring in some super mutants. Some feral ghouls on the other side, along with some mole rats, some mutant hounds, and some gunners. And their wiring's all set up to the switches to give them constant supplies. Next up is from that mod I was being covert about earlier, with what looks like a Tesla / radiation emitter. It's actually a spawner for Team A and one for Team B. These will spawn a raider of a random caliber who will fight the other raider till the death. Back to the holding area, where I'm going to finish off the final walls and enclose it in. Now this one itself is going to be a pretty special room. As I said, it's a holding area. Not only that, I'm going to put a lift in to allow me easy access and to seal it off. As you can see, we've got some of the big enemies being put in here, or as I like to call them, the big three. Now these are going to have their own separate switches that's actually in the room, and the wiring itself is going to have to go around the room to be out of the way and nice and tidy. Now the power supply itself is brought behind the secure area with its own generator that'll give it constant power, and a switch that will control not only the powered door, but also a beta emitter as well, which will keep them all passive. With a nice large garage door to have the entrance for this room, I think it is a nice finishing touch as well. The door itself slides out quite nicely. It does look a bit glitchy, but I can live with that. And that's it. I mean, this is the view you get from inside the arena, which is quite terrifying. And a bird's eye view of it all. I mean, personally speaking, I think it looks quite spectacular. So the only thing I've got to do now is decorate. And, well, I'll show you what I've done. First things first is the control booth. All with their own special switches, and they've got their nice neon names underneath to show what they actually do. For those wondering what happens with the team deathmatches, well, this. I put a nice spike pit in the middle as well, and around the sides are spring-loaded traps. Now, with the fighters themselves, you can actually place bets, which is pretty cool, and you can earn some caps from doing that as well. You can also loot the corpses after. The important thing is not to console command disable them, and to kill them yourself, as it actually ruins the whole system. And both people will die at the very end. Testing out the other creatures as well is a nice way to make sure the arena works successfully. And ghouls versus rad scorpions, who would have thunk it? Ghouls are better. If you don't know as well, when you actually release the creatures, you have a random chance of bringing out special kinds. For example, the ghouls there were charred ghouls. And now you can place your bets between these two. Are you going to go for the Death Claw or the Yao Guai? I mean, it's going to be a close one, definitely. You picked Yao Guai, you're a winner. As you can see up here, I have added a few braziers to give it a bit more light, which is quite nice. And when we change the clock to nighttime, it illuminates it quite nicely. I'm not probably going to use the arena at nighttime. I'm probably only going to use it during the day. I've also added some nice neons for the entrances, along with some statues and some flags. And obviously around the sides, I've also put neons up for the challengers' entrances too. Behind the workshop, unfortunately, are some of the graves of the great challengers that have been so victorious in the arena. Over here, we have the toilets and what looks like a radiation storm coming. We have the male side, which has some nice urinals, some sinks that actually work, and some of the toilets as well. I think I've actually forgotten to put on the... Yeah, I forgot to put the stalls on. Oops. And then we've got the ladies' side as well, which has got stalls, which actually have doors on them. Hey, I remembered that one. They've all got papers in them, I'm nice like that. And obviously got mirrors, radiators, and sinks that will function. Out here, we have the bar area, along with the betting station as well. Nice wavy flags, and the main sign. Well, that's it, folks. That's my arena. I really hope you enjoyed watching the video and watching the construction of it all. I mean, this is one of the biggest builds that I've ever done. And to be honest, I've really enjoyed the whole thing as well. I mean, look at it. It is a big thing to do. Hopefully, this might have inspired you to do your own little arenas, or inspired you in a design you've been searching for as well. I personally will be taking this out for a spin quite a lot now. and having my own little death matches going off. And hopefully in the near future, I'll be doing another big project as well. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, please hit that like button, share it around with your friends and whatever, and be sure to hit subscribe so you're notified of when my content is released. And until next time, see you around.